Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
So, we have the situation in the United States of America where police are refusing vaccine mandates. Now, as we all know, police are state workers, and it is within governor's power, and it is within other, state officials' power to mandate that state employees become vaccinated. Police unions in this country are saying, hell no! We want to run around unmasked in our communities and spread a virus to people for no reason. That's their decision. A lot of them are comparing vaccine mandates to Nazi Germany. Yeah, guess what? If you want to compare police and Nazi Germany, I've got news for you. You're not on the right side of history there. Reminder, during the Nuremberg trials, what did the Nazis say? What was their defense? What were their pleas for mercy? They said they were just following orders. Well, whenever you talk to a police officer and you ask them why you arrested someone for smoking a blunt, what do they say? Just following orders. Whenever you ask a police officer where they shot and killed someone in the back of the head, what do they say? They were just following orders. There is no difference between Nazis and police in the United States of America. The only difference is, are we in 1945 or are we in 1933? That's the difference. But the mindset that will lead someone to kill other people, to put other people in danger, all under the guise of law enforcement and following orders, that is something that is very much like Nazi Germany. But guess what? It is not like the Jewish people hiding from the Gestapo. It is the Gestapo that they are very much so comparable to. So let's read this article. This is from The Atlantic. It was after Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced that she would pursue a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all city employees that the local Fraternal Order of Police President John finally understood what it was like to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. We're in America, goddammit. We don't want to be forced to do anything. Period. This ain't Nazi fucking Germany, where they say, step into the fucking showers, the pills won't hurt you. What the fuck? What the fuck is right? A few tiny holes weaken this metaphor. Public employees being compelled to take a life-saving vaccine that will prevent them from spreading a deadly virus is not quite the same as being the subject to genocide. The comparison often manages to even be more strained than the one of the film Office Space, when the protagonist compares TGI Friday's requirement that employees sport flair to the Nazis forcing Jews to bear symbols identifying themselves as Jews. And that was meant to be a joke about terrible Nazi analogies. Police unions all over the country have been rebelling against the possibility of vaccine mandates. In New York City, the largest police union is threatening to sue over a potential vaccine mandate, calling immunization a, quote, personal medical decision. All cops are bastards. If your coworkers say, hey, I have an idea, let's go shoot someone in the back of the head for fun. If your coworker says, hey, I have an idea, let's go cough on old people when we stop and frisk them and give them a virus because we're deadly carriers and we're unmasked. If your coworker says, hey, fuck this pandemic, let's kill people. You know what I would do? In that instance where my coworkers would say that, I would leave my fucking job. But there is no good cop. There cannot be a good cop. There will not be a good cop in a system where this is how cops are being represented. If, again, there is a good cop and they cover for bad cops, if you have 1,300 cops, good cops, and 12 bad cops, and the good cops don't rat out the bad cops, you've got 1,312 bad cops, folks. And you need to understand that. Covering up murder, covering up attempted murder, covering up assault, is just as bad as those crimes themselves. If my brother was a serial killer, which, hey, he might be, I don't know. But if he was a serial killer and I knew he was a serial killer, and I knew who his next victim was, and I chose not to act, I would be an accomplice to murder in that instance. because I did not choose to act accordingly. I chose to cover for someone who is clearly a horrible person instead of doing the right thing. There is no such thing as a good cop. There will never be a good cop in this system. In a nation where police themselves argue that the defiance of their directives can justify fatal force, it is more than a little bizarre to hear police officers analogizing vaccine requirements to Nazi Germany, or insisting that the state cannot dictate their behavior. The police are an arm of the state. Their job largely consists of using their authority to force people to do things in the name of public safety. Police will shoot and kill people over weed. Police will send people into metal cages for 30 years for weed. That reminds me an awful lot of what's going on, or what was going on in Nazi Germany. Again, if your job is to, quote, just follow orders, and now all of a sudden this specific order can't do it, that proves that they are capable of not following orders. So when it comes to killing people, just following orders. When it comes to throwing people in metal cages for 30 years for smoking weed, just following orders. When it comes to breaking people's legs, shooting them in a way that permanently disables them, just following orders. When it comes to taking life-saving medicine that's going to help end a pandemic that's killing hundreds of thousands of Americans, all of a sudden that is what puts them in a different perspective. That means they are capable of rebelling. That means they are capable of not following orders. And again, if they're carrying out orders of sending people to jail for the rest of their lives for having weed on them, but they're not following orders when it comes to taking life-saving medicine, I've got news for you. It's because they like doing those things. They like ruining people's lives. They like assaulting people. They like killing people. That's why they sign up to be police. 80% of cops voted for Donald Trump. 40% of cops are domestic abusers. That is also the goal of vaccine mandates, which, unlike policing, do not bear the same risk of potential physical harm to the public. Vaccination is not a personal decision because eschewing vaccination puts others at risk. I cannot catch your bad haircut or your ugly tattoo. Your preference for Game of Thrones' final season of the Atkins diet or the Atkins diet are not contagious. Another person's devout adherence to a different faith does not prevent me from committing to my own. Immunization should be required for government employees. It should be required for everyone that is capable of taking a vaccine. Because yes, there are people that cannot take a vaccine. So that's why I took a vaccine. Because I know that children under 12, people that are immunocompromised who might not be able to take the vaccine, I do it for them. I want to end this pandemic so that they don't have to fear for the rest of their lives going outside. I want to do my part in putting this all behind us so that they can maybe go outside again and live a normal life. That's my responsibility as someone who can take the vaccine. And again, 99% of people can take the vaccine. As someone who can take the vaccine, it is my and our responsibility to do what we need to do to end this pandemic so that everyone, even the people that can't take the vaccine, are allowed to live happily ever after. But cops aren't going to do that. Anyway, I said what I need to say. Fuck cops. All cops are bastards.